I did well academically at school. I went to university. I went and worked abroad for a while, came back. I've been working in the voluntary sector since then. But underlying all of that was what became subsequently extremely disabling mental health issues. And I think it took a long time for me to actually consider that might be something that made me a disabled person, that might be something for which I could ask for adjustments, but it might also be something that makes me an asset to a number of organisations as well. I've almost embarked on a way of thinking, okay, what is it that people need to know in order for me to do this job? They don't need to know that I've been admitted to psychiatric hospital. They need to know that I take medication that makes it really hard for me to get up in the morning. And therefore, if I could start at 10:30, they will get an awful lot more out of me than they will if they make me start at 9 o'clock. If I get into a very kind of what's called sort of dissociative state where I get very stressed and I'm not able to communicate, I need to go home and sleep. No amount of berating me or telling me I have to work on my communication skills is going to make any difference whatsoever. And I think I've learned to have an expectation on my employer that actually if I'm qualified and able to do the job they want, then they should be willing to make the adjustments that I need. And that's why it's called reasonable adjustments. Sometimes I think when people talk about adjustments, reasonable adjustments, they start panicking. Oh, we won't be able to do that. We won't be able to do that. Well, have you actually thought about what those things are? I think actually using online forums with other people who are disabled has made me really consider those kind of environmental things, and also that thing that everyone's an expert on themselves, and that if you want to know what somebody needs, then you need to ask them and not make any sort of assumptions. What I expect, I also try to offer to other people as well. And remember, there's a difference between equity of treatment and equality of treatment. And that's actually a fairly fundamental principle. I do find myself being quite reticent in new jobs about having quite substantive mental health issues because I don't know how people will respond. And in some ways, I'm lucky that I have the choice. You know, people can't tell and I can choose to say something, but I'm also living in fear of getting ill and then having a, well, why didn't you explain? So it's a bit of a balancing act. But I do think in terms of employment, it's about having environments where it's acceptable to say, well, that doesn't work for me. Can we do it this way? And everyone sits down and thinks about what works for everyone rather than this is the way we do it because we've always done it, which has got to be the worst reason in the world. Everybody's got quirks, everyone's slightly different, and what are environments and ways of working that will work for everyone.